truth that you are a slave. Like everyone else, you were born into bondage, born into a prison for your mind.
Greetings to all of humanity's reader joy. It's a pleasure. It's always my honor to be out here well connected with nature and bringing to you this message of emancipation, whereby I'm pointing you to look inwardly to discover that your real identity is your divinity. And that is why I want to speak to you on the subject of circumstances and how circumstances doesn't matter when you want to achieve your every desire. And those of you who are familiar with Neville Goddard would also be familiar with his mentor Abdullah, the black mystic from Ethiopia, who taught him that circumstances doesn't matter. For we see it was in a time of a great depression that Neville had this burning desire. Yes, this deep burning desire to travel back to his home country where he was born, way in the Caribbean island of Barbados, without any money and any work. For it was 1933 and there was a great depression around that time. So it means that the circumstances that was surrounding that time was one based upon fear, doubt, mass hysteria, and mass psychosis. Also, just like what is happening right now. And we all know that history always repeats itself. But we see that Abdullah taught Neville, look, circumstances doesn't really matter when you learn to trust in the higher power that is within you. So we see Abdullah saying to Neville, you have already gone to Barbados, and you have already gone to Barbados first class. And for this to happen, we see that Neville had to think fourth-dimensionally and live fourth-dimensionally by sleeping in his mother's home in Barbados in his imagination night after night. And when he walked the streets of New York, he had to see himself walking the streets of Barbados and live in his imagination morning, noon, and night. So what I'm saying to you, it doesn't matter what is the situation. It doesn't matter what are the circumstances that you might think that are blocking you. All you need to do is to rise above your self-doubt. All you need to do is put the devil, which is your self-doubt, under your feet and realize that man is not the creature of circumstances. Circumstances are the creatures of man. You create them. Therefore, you can overpower all situations. You can overpower all circumstances if you realize that it is your own thoughts that is creating your reality. If you realize that thoughts become things. If you realize that we become what we think about most of the time, and you take control of your mind, you take control of your thoughts, and you become more responsible for your thoughts and your action, no circumstances would stop you from achieving your goals. That is why, my brother, my sisters, when you have an assumption, though false, once persisted in, it would harden into fact. It would be objectified on the screen of space, and you would experience it in this three-dimensional world. So, my brother, my sisters, in order to overcome all circumstances and live as a winner, you have to believe in yourself. You have to embrace yourself. You have to trust your gut feeling. You have to believe that God in man is man's imagination. And you have to live more intuitively. And when you do that, then you would realize what Matthew 6:33 really means when it says that if you seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. True righteousness is you believing that you are already that which you desire to be and live. In the belief that it is already so, with the feeling, because you're now living from your heart when you live like that. And you are actually saying that wherever your heart is. That's where your treasure is. And you're living from the place of your treasure, because you realize your treasure is more than the circumstances that are out here in this three-dimensional world, because you are a spirit having a human experience. And you realize that they that worship God, which is your higher self, your true self, your invisible self, must believe and must worship in spirit and in truth, which means you must live from the spirit. You must live from the feeling of your wish fulfilled. And when you live from the feeling of your wish fulfilled, no circumstances can stand before you, because darkness cannot stand before light. So my brother, my sisters, take control of your life right now. Rise above all of these circumstances right now. As we can see what is happening in the world right now, and many people might be looking at their circumstances. They might be looking at their credit score. They might be looking at their bank account. Many people might be thinking now about probably losing their jobs if they do not take the job or the inoculation. And many people might allow fear to overtake them, because they have loans and mortgages all over their heads, and they have their so-called government on their backs. And many also have their religious leaders lying to them and keeping them under this energy of deception and fear. But I'm saying to you, this message of self-realization, it says that if your eye be single, your whole body would be full of light. And this single eye message of self-realization that which I am bringing to you, I'm saying to you, it empowers you to take full control over your mind and rise above all circumstances. You have the power. Use that power, and use that power wisely. That is why Neville was able to travel first class, as Abdullah assured him that he will do, because he rise above all the circumstances. So my brother, my sisters, do not let any circumstances allow you to fall in doubt and fear. Rise above the occasion and realize that you have a command center, and there's a commander that is residing in your command center, and the commander in your command center is invisible, which is the invisible you, and the invisible you can do all things. Remember, there's nothing that is impossible to the real you, which is God in you, your imagination. So live in your imagination morning, noon, and night, and you will rise above all of your situations, above all of your circumstances, and you would result in winning the battle for your mind. So with that being said, my brother and my sister, I want to thank you very much for listening to me. And I want to say to you, if this is the very first time that you're listening to me and you haven't subscribed already, I encourage you to subscribe, to like, to comment, or to share this video. Also, if you haven't started following me as yet on Instagram, I'm encouraging you to follow me on Instagram at Black Math Guru. And also, if you haven't checked out my courses yet, I have a course on my Patreon called the Inner Sound Science and Technology to Create Your Reality Consciously, or the Inner Sound Engineering to Create Your Reality Consciously. Also, there are other videos that are there on my Patreon that you can check out also. If also there's any other way that you would like to support this work, we have a PayPal and the link is down below. Feel free to check out the link if you really feel led to do so. Okay? Because I always encourage you to just follow your intuition, your gut feeling. Become more intuitive. Just do things when you are strongly led to do so. So with that being said, my brother and my sisters, I want to say peace. Love you all. I'm out.